Hello, I'm State Senator Capri Cafaro from the 32nd Senate District. Welcome to Ohio in Focus.
Welcome to Ohio in Focus. Today we're talking about jobs and economic development with Senate Democratic leader Capri Cafaro. Senator Cafaro represents the 32nd Senate District, which covers Trumbull and Ashtabula counties. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
I wanted to start off by talking about the Auto Task Force. You were part of that task force that was put together by the General Assembly, and you traveled around the state. Looking at the different auto manufacturing plants and how the industry's affected the state. What sorts of things did you learn and see as you went around the state?
We certainly were everywhere, and I come from an auto community. I represent the largest General Motors manufacturing facility in the state of Ohio, GM Lordstown, home of the Cobalt, future home of the Cruise. Got to put in a little plug there. And we were everywhere. We were in Dayton and Mansfield and Lorain County. And there's no question that the auto industry is truly part of the fabric of Ohio's economy. And so, we heard from local leaders talking about the necessity for improvements for economic development tools in the state of Ohio. We learned about workforce development incentives that that would really help the supply chain and help with job creation and retention within the auto sector and its suppliers, rather. We've learned about some of the challenges associated with the dealerships that have been absolutely impacted by the bankruptcy of General Motors and Chrysler. So it was really a great experience, and I look forward to the launch and the release of the task force recommendations, and hope to see some of those recommendations actually become law.
Well, part of the deal here was to come up with a list of recommendations.
That's right.
To present to the governor. Those recommendations, what sorts of things do they focus on that can really jumpstart the industry, which has been so important to the state of Ohio?
That's right. And as I said, we really did take that testimony into account. And so, for example, we want to try to make the job creation and retention tax credit refundable to be able to better compete with other states within the region that obviously have a manufacturing sector. We want to do things like create a centralized automobile czar, if you will. I know people don't like to use the word czar, but a focal point individual within the Department of Development, so there is a centralized point of contact for the auto industry, manufacturers, suppliers, dealers, et cetera. We talked a lot about workforce development and making sure that we are focused on providing the appropriate training, again, to retain those jobs, attract additional investment. And we also talked a little bit about advocacy from the state to the federal level on bankruptcy laws to make sure that we're protecting our workers who have paid into pensions and health care, and as retirees are expecting that and and certainly hope that they're not going to have problems when a company files bankruptcy.
Yeah. We should point out that this is a bipartisan effort, too.
It certainly was. Senator Mark Wagner of the Toledo area, who was a Republican, and Representative Matt Lundy, who was a Democrat from Lorain County, were the co-chairs. And so it was very much a bipartisan panel. And we traveled the state and listened and learned and hope to apply those lessons to invigorate the auto sector, and ultimately some of these Department of Development and flexible development tools won't just necessarily impact the strength of the auto sector, but hopefully will have a strong economic development impact for other industries as well.
You mentioned the GM's Lordstown plant, which is in your district, and the fact that they are going to be launching the Chevy Cruise
That's right.
Not far down the road. With that in mind, and with the work that the task force has done, is there a reason to be optimistic about the auto industry in Ohio and its future?
I certainly hope so. It is somewhat of a mixed bag. I know some of our communities across the state really have been hit hard. We are fortunate in my community to have we just added on an expanded shift at GM Lordstown. We've really benefited from the Cash for Clunkers program at the federal level because we have compact cars. Some communities have not been as fortunate, but I certainly do hope that the partnership between the state, local, and federal government levels, as well as a partnership between economic development professionals and the industries, again, the manufacturers, the suppliers, the dealers, we can have an opportunity to strengthen the auto sector in Ohio and both retain and create jobs.
I want to also ask you about another economic development issue, and that is the bioproducts bill that you jointly sponsored with Senator Karen Gilmore. It's SB 131. Bioproducts, that's things made out of corn and soybeans and so forth, right here in Ohio. What would this bill do?
Well, this bill, as you mentioned, co-sponsored with Senator Karen Gilmore, who was a Republican, kind of from the opposite side of the state from me. She's more on the west side, I'm on the east side, but we have a common goal, and that is to jumpstart the bioproducts economic sector here in Ohio through utilizing the purchasing power, the procurement power of the state of Ohio, through the Department of Administrative Services and our Board of Regents, our university systems that all have expansive powers to bulk purchase. And this basically would put in place regulations and percentages to go out and basically utilize the purchasing power of the state of Ohio to hopefully jumpstart this economic sector. We in Ohio have a wonderful agricultural base. We have a manufacturing base as well. And we have research and development institutions all across the state with our institutions of higher education. So bioproducts, which as you mentioned, there's corn, there's soy, and it's like corn-based plastic and soy-based foam. What a great way to stimulate all of these sectors of the economy to really make Ohio a leader.
It can be used for things like lip balm and copy toner stuff. And
that's right.
It's all kinds of things. Do you envision perhaps, like factories that may have been closed or businesses that have been closed across the state, maybe those facilities could be converted to bioproducts production?
I do. I mean, again, this is one of the reasons why, we saw this bill pass unanimously in the Senate with Democrat and Republican support, because there is an opportunity to convert our historic knowledge base in manufacturing, for example, the plastics industry, polymers, and bring in this agricultural component and create something totally new. And I do think that it's an opportunity for us to really pivot into 21st century manufacturing for new economic opportunity.
All right. Thanks, Senator, for joining us here on Ohio in Focus.
Thank you for having me.
Now, if you'd like to get in contact with Senator Cafaro at the State House, her office number is 614-466-7182, or you can send an email to sd32@maild.sen.state.oh.us. You can also follow the Senate Democratic Caucus online at ohiosenatedems.blogspot.com. That's all for this edition of Ohio in Focus. Thanks for watching.